Hi guys, this is Ella. In today's video, I will be talking about what can you spend EIDL funds on. So if you're one of those business owners who were lucky enough to receive up to $10,000, great. So now you need to know how do you spend them. Based on the last and official guidelines, and again, it's important to keep in mind that the guidelines been changing literally on everyday basis. If you spend these funds on any of the business operating expenses besides the payroll or rent, then they deem to be forgiven and you will need to pay them back. Based on the SBA application that just came out recently for the PPP loan forgiveness program, they have a section where they're asking you how much you have received in EIDL funds. So it's still, as of today, and today is May 20th, it's still a little bit unclear of how they want us to record and spend this money. Because again, just like I mentioned, they keep changing the rules and regulations. But based on the old rule and regulation, if you had spent this money outside of the payroll and rent on any operating expenses, then they would have been forgiven. If you had spent them on the payroll or rent, then you had the choice to refinance them into the PPP loan. Some of you, when you filled up the application for the PPP, and there was a section if you have received the EIDL funds, and if you did fill this section in and if you received the amount, then I believe that the bank did this for you and they refinanced it into the PPP loan. So if you're one of those, then my suggestion is to double check in the documents that you have signed, double check with your bank, because if they did refinance them into the PPP loan, then you will need to follow the rules and regulations for the PPP loan forgiveness on how you disperse them. Meaning that, and I had one of the clients actually yesterday, so he received $9,375 in the PPP, and then he also received $4,000 in the EIDL, which they refinanced it into the PPP loan. So what actually happened is that now his PPP loan is $13,375. So now he has to follow the rules and regulations based on the PPP loan to disperse the funds if he wants them to be forgiven. Because the rules for the disaster loan and for the PPP loan is different. So therefore you need to know exactly if it was refinanced or not, and if it was not refinanced, then the rules for the disaster loan are different. As long as you spend this money for the operating expenses, then they deemed to be forgiven. If you would like to learn more about the PPP loans or the disaster loans, then please watch my other videos. Thank you.